Good evening, everybody.
Welcome.
Hi.
Yes, howdy doody. How's it going?
Yes.
I'm Ezekiel.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're here today with another episode of Marriage Matters. It's live.
It is live.
Indeed. Welcome. Thank you so much. Those of you who we saw in the comments waiting around, we're so grateful for you.
Yes, we are.
Do forgive us if we were tardy today, but you know how it goes in the background. There's always...
Gotta let people know that we're jumping on.
There's always things going on, you know, the technical side of stuff. So,
yes.
So glad to be with you guys here today. Do shout us out in the comments. Let us know where you're watching this from, and if this is your first time, just let us know that you're first. Just say first out in the comments. So we've got a really interesting topic for the guys today.
No, but first, no brownies for me today.
They're in the fridge. They're in the fridge.
Ah!
They're in the fridge. All right. So
I've had this little thing going on where I think the past couple of episodes I've had little treats, and today I'm looking like there's no. But at least they're in the fridge. So
my brothers out there, this is where you need to be mindful. You know, when you start doing certain things for your sisters, you know, you build up this expectation.
Your sisters,
you know what I'm saying?
You mean our wives.
Yeah, our sisters. Your wife. Sorry, forgive me for your wife. Yeah, I'll say it to my brothers and our sisters, their wives.
Yes,
your
that's
wives,
right.
your wives.
Right, that's right. My husband's correct.
Obviously, we can build in this expectation with them, and you know, once you've built it, it's something you've got to live with. You know, what I mean? You have to manage and work with that. But
or you can quickly just be like, "Hun, you know what? Yeah, it was a one-off. Let's just." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how that washes. You know what I mean? I don't know how that goes
or you
down.
can just keep it real. Do you know what I mean?
I
was just trying to be cute. You know.
All right. So yeah. Boom. So we'll talk about it on another stream, lads, chaps. So
yes.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, for all of you out there, I'm so grateful once again. If you're watching this on the replay, don't be shy. Let us know where you're watching it from as well.
Yes.
If you've got any questions, do throw those questions in the comments box as well. We do go back and we are kind of monitoring those things as well. And we will respond to you if there's any kind of content or ideas you want us to make videos about, or maybe touch on in one of these topics. We'll be glad to evaluate that. Yeah, see if we can get that done. So, we're almost about to jump in.
Yes, we are.
We're warming up. This is the Marriage Matters playlist. On this playlist, we are focused on your relationship, in your marriage, and helping you guys win. Win at relationships, godly relationships.
Past that, I mean, because obviously a lot of the times, you know, people generally tend to think it's once you've entered into the marriage zone that you're in and you've made it kind of thing. I mean, marriage is never really made, really, is it? There's so much that you've got to continue to work out.
It's a work in process.
It's a work in progress, you know. So yes. We want to just thank all of you that are on right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. And please share the link.
Yeah, do that, please.
Share the show to people that you know, and you know, singles, engaged people who engage, and your married friends and things like that. And let's begin to build a community around why marriage really does matter, because it really does. Marriage really does matter, especially in today's day and age where so much is going on.
Come on.
There is a lot of confusion being spread, and if you know what I'm talking about, and if you agree, leave that in the chat. You know, give me a thumbs up on that, because there is a lot of confusion being spread, and I really believe that this is the time for married people to begin to really show that, you know, marriage isn't what they what they portray it to be. You know, marriage isn't what it's portrayed to be on the TV screens, in your soap operas and things like that, where and a lot of you know, if we keep it real, a lot of people get their ideas of what marriage is from movies. Yeah,
we've spoken about that. We spoke about that in the last couple episodes.
Yeah, the first episode I think it was, wasn't it?
If you didn't watch
In
that,
and Out of Love,
you need to go back and just click that link and have a look.
Please.
We'll try and get, hopefully, so you can add that in the description. Yes, add that video link in the description below, so you guys can find that. Yes. So today, what we're going to talk about is how much is too much. How much is too much? So I think we made a point. Didn't we? I think a few videos back, and we said we were going to touch on dating to a degree. Mm-hmm. And I think when you hear that title, you may think, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Yeah. And I want us to look at this.
Because obviously, you know, it's like marriage. How much? What do you mean?
How much is too much? Yeah. And so, we gave you the cheat code for that already.
Yes,
hopefully, you've been reading in between the lines. You've been focusing on that. But what I really want us to kind of just delve into a little bit now is this kind of divide. So there is the marriage aspect of it, and there is the pre-marriage aspect.
That's right.
So a lot of people today, where I was a good few years back, we shared a bit of our story a little bit.
Yeah.
Previously, is I'm married. So during my period of not being married, there is this concept that, you know, I can engage a young lady and then put some demands on that lady, on my sister. Do you know what I'm saying?
I wish we could just zoom into my eyes right now because, you know, like, not joking.
but it's a reality.
Yeah.
And obviously we now transition from this kind of dating, quote unquote, area. We like to reference courting. Courting is what we advocate, and we'll talk about that on another video. Essentially,
Definitely.
Courting is what we advocate. Going into a relationship with a goal,
knowing
a focus.
where it's going.
But so you've got this pre-marriage stage,
Yeah.
and in the pre-marriage stage,
Yeah.
everybody has an idea of what that looks like.
Yeah.
So what I should be getting, what I should be giving, what I should put what demands I should make. But then we've got the transition into the state of marriage. So we're married now, and again, it's the same thing. What should I expect from you?
Exactly.
What shouldn't I expect from you? Etc. Etc. So let's start at the kind of the top end. Let's go back, and we want to talk about in that dating box. Yeah. Some of you are in that box right now.
If you're in the dating box, if you're in the courting box, please leave it in the comments below. We'd love to know. You know, we'd love to hear that, and obviously, you know, your opinions and things like that as well. If you're in that arena.
Super. So just let us know if you're dating. Just say dating. If you're courting, say courting. Yeah. It helps us as well, because as we're building this content out, it helps us to kind of really address you guys and ensure that we're putting across the appropriate content that really can help you through that stage of life where you are at the moment. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure you participate and add those comments. All right. Remember, I said to you that the comments you guys contribute help us really build and foster the conversation here on this channel. So let's talk about this. So the dating box. People are in the dating box, and as you said, rightly so, my catchphrase, all behaviour is learnt behaviour. You hear me say it time and time again. I talk to people at church about this. It's really important for us to understand everything we do, we learned it somewhere.
Of course.
Much of it, was it yesterday? We were talking about, or 2 days back, we were talking about nature or nurture. So you've got some things that are kind of inherent in just our makeup. Other things that we pick up along the way. It could be parents, teachers at school, friends and family, movies, etc., etc. So my point is this. Where are we learning? Now, we spoke about the movies kind of aspect a little bit, but where are we learning what we should be expecting in that relationship? Sorry, let me just use the word relationships. In relationships, where do we learn what we should expect? So that is what I should take, and then what I should give, what I should be handed over. So talk to me about that, Says.
Well, I think the first thing is generally your environment. Environment is a big thing. You know, we learn a lot from the things that we see, people that have gone ahead of us.
That's right.
You know, and then I think as well, it's that we, I want to say that gender thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you know what I mean by like the whole gender, like girls do this and boys do this in a sense, you know, and I think it does a lot of
gender roles. You're talking about
gender roles. That's the one. Gender roles. So obviously, like when two people get together, automatically a woman naturally falls into a woman does this role, and a man does this role. You know, you go out for dinner, and automatically the woman is expecting the man to pay because that's how it should be.
It should be. Right?
Whereas you might get some modern day man that is like, we go half on this, or is she paying? Do you know what I mean? But that's probably like a few men. I don't really know if there's like much guys out there that are like taking women out on for dinner and expecting her to pay. But
my brothers, if you feel that she should pay, I need to see that in the comments. She should pay. Come on, put that in. Let me see. She should pay too.
She should pay too. But what's it? Yeah. So obviously, like a woman, she will have an expectation when a guy asks her to go out. Automatically, there are these things that come up, like, okay, if we were out and something was to happen, obviously he's gonna protect me.
Yeah.
If if I have to do something, he's obviously going to hold my bag, right? Or, just different things. And obviously, like with or even things like, okay, so when we go out, he's going to pull my chair out and let me sit down first. Where did she get that idea from? Movies.
Which women are you talking about?
Different things that she sees. Hun, when we go out for dinner, I do it, so you to pull out my chair.
I'm just asking.
Exactly. So I'm just saying.
Did I set myself up for that?
I'm talking from my perspective.
Okay.
So, and then obviously, like as time goes on, it's okay. I'm expecting us to talk every day, and these things begin to creep in. Obviously, where do they come from?
Yeah.
Again, I do think it's the way a lot of people are raised. Women are raised to be a certain way. Men are raised to be a certain way.
In different houses, yes, absolutely.
In different houses, yeah.
That's really powerful, and that's exactly what I want to move on to. So thank you so much for that. Because we hear this phrase, toxic relationships. We hear toxic relationships from time to time. It's perpetuated to the point where everyone is using it as a catchphrase now. I want to bring something in. I want us to talk about toxic parenting. Because many a time when we talk about toxic relationships, what we talk about is this idea.
I was not expecting that.
But it's the realness. Like a lot of times, what we think about in toxic relationships is this idea that she's some crazy woman. He's kind of crazy guy kind of thing, and it's always that way. But where did the craze come from? So, and we can touch on it now. We could really blow it out in so many different ways. But the fact of the matter is, and I want to say that, I mean, in terms of talking about, we can blow it out in so many different ways in terms of talking about the influences that we get from life that feed into our relationships. We can, they come from so many different places. But I want to talk about toxic parenting because I truly believe that one of the greatest travesties today is the fact that parents don't truly understand the value, the position of authority and significance that they have as parents. Some people are having children just because it gives them brownie points at work or with the government. Some people looking for a house or something like that. Some people do it because
some people want comfort. Some
people do it. Some people do it because they've
companionship.
They're emotionally challenged. They are emotionally immature. They have a low emotional IQ, and because of that, they think it's okay or appropriate to put pressure on a partner to have a child. This could be a male or a female, and then in turn have a baby, wherein which they can feel elevated. They feel that kind of gap, that kind of need. So these are problems to start with, because people are going into this relationship, into this parenting relationship, lacking the true dexterity, so the character, the true nature that's required for them to prosper, to really be a beneficial parent, essentially. So, and then in turn, they're raising somebody who lacks the capacity to relate to the opposite sex.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. So are you basically saying that a lot of this has gone wrong because parents, I mean, if you agree with this, if you disagree with what my husband's saying, or, if you have your own opinions or you think similar views, please leave that in the comments.
Throw that in the comments. Come on, throw it down.
So are you saying that you think that the reason why a lot of when men and women get together and they begin to get it all wrong is because of how they were raised? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that is a massive, massive contributing factor to why we have the challenges in personal character.
It's funny because obviously we know that parents, all behaviours, learnt behaviour, this is something you minister about all the time. And, with the children, I mean, we've got 4 children ourselves. So when we see what's happening, what's going on in the home, we know, okay, you must have got that from me. You did this because, we do see the children with different characteristics from both of us.
Yes.
So I get that. But I've never actually thought about relationships, dating and all that, and courting and all that stuff from that perspective. So I think it's really powerful that you're actually taking it from that angle, because I guess it allows people to see things from a wider view, because it's not just about these two people who are in this relationship now. Their influences are coming, the things that they're doing are coming in from their outside influences, which then affects how they move forward.
Absolutely. One of my brothers, years ago, we were having a discussion around about this, and he said something really significant. It stayed with me. Samuel, his point was that
love you, Sam.
He was like, two people in a relationship are, I'm going to paraphrase, but these two people are, their character, their nature is fed into by their two parents. So in essence, when we sit down to get married now, it's not just about the two of us. If you really evaluate it, let me kind of extend it now. If you really evaluate it, we're talking about the nature of 2, 4, 6 different people. So I've got my two parents, you've got your two parents, and then we've got the two of us.
Two parents.
So, and then we've got the two of us.
Already.
That's right. So there's 6 people, right. 6 minds as we sit down here and we say, okay, we're going to start a family now. So then we now have to consider what my mum felt was too much or not enough. What my dad felt was too much, not enough. How I rightly or wrongly divide that. Based on then, we've got the contributing factors of the TV, the radio, the people I listen to. So all of that is being fed into me. And then I'm trying to engage with you, who's dealing with the exact same. Wow. Imagine this. But now some people...
That's a lot of weight.
Wait, we ain't even got there yet. Now some people are not actually coming from a 2-parent home.
True.
They've got 2 parents and some. So what if you've got 2 parents who have separated, and those 2 parents have separated, they now have new partners. And it is such that all of that is being fed into you over time. So now this is where we really, this is where, and we have to bring God into the situation. This is where God tries to simplify things for us. Because when he talks about a man and a woman, you get together, you start a family, there is a simplification in that. And as we, as people, begin to complicate things, it begins to get really, really crazy. Yeah. Basically. So let's kind of hone in a bit. So 2 people are together. First thing, and we'll probably need a whole different stream for that. But let's talk about cohabiting. All right, my mum would go on to me about this all the time. You should not be cohabiting. Yeah, that was her view. Yeah, a big view. Yeah, and obviously, you know, I wasn't always a minister of the gospel. You know. Yeah,
there was a time before this.
And so obviously, mum would try to correct me. Both mum and dad will be feeding in, and they're trying to correct me, kind of guide me and steer me. Yeah. But the reality is, when a person is cohabiting, when a person is in a situation where they say, okay, you know what, let's move in together. It's like, oh, I found this person, I really like them, I'm in love, I think they're the one, or whatever. For some people, it's not even the case they're the one. It's just like you're my girlfriend, I'm your boyfriend. Do you understand? Yeah. So then we move in together.
Let's pay some rent together.
Do you understand? So look, this is where it even starts, because for some people, I may be shacking up with you, and I don't want to pay no bills. Do you understand? Yeah. Because my dynamic says, if you find a woman who's got it together, then you can just sit back. Do you understand? She'll cook, she'll clean, she'll pay the bills. Imagine. Everything's good.
Imagine.
Do you know what I'm saying? She'll cater to my every need.
That is not biblical. Fire.
So I'm saying that that's something we need to consider. So cohabiting is a scenario. And I'm sure I mentioned this on one of these streams previously about SB Shalobumi. She mentioned something to me one time, and her point was that, you know, you really need to consider the fact that the reason people like to get involved in these dating scenarios is because you're able to have your cake and eat it too. You don't need to commit to a lifelong relationship. You don't need to commit to a covenant in the sight of God, but at the same time, you can get all the benefits. Yeah. And this is an issue. Yeah, definitely. This is a big issue.
I wanted us to kind of just like track back a bit and relate it back to what you were saying about parenting. So obviously, as you know, when I was growing up, my mum never really sat me down and said, oh, by the way, Sarah, you know, if you're going to see a boy, make sure you do this, make sure you don't do this. You know, there was no advice. Yes. There was no advice. I mean, I come from a Nigerian background, African background, and Caribbean as well. So we were not really... We weren't taught those things. We were, once you got to a certain age, you was kind of like left to your own devices. Whoa. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. It's like, and I don't know if parents think that this isn't something that they should talk to their children about. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I don't think parents actually stop to think to themselves, should I? Some parents do. Some parents do. Some parents have the whole sex talk with their teenage child, because they might think that their child might be going in that direction. So they quickly say, you know what, I know of that kind of conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't know of a conversation of any friend or myself that has had a parent really sit down with them and say, listen, dating is a serious thing. Or if you're trying to see someone, it's a serious thing. There are, there are do's and don'ts. There are, you can only go so far, or whatever it may, whatever advice that needs to be given. In a sense, I really feel like that whole relationship aspect is not really, doesn't seem to have come with the parenting package.
Why, Sarah?
I don't know.
Why is that?
It's gonna come for me now, because I've never thought about it from that angle.
So why is it that it's okay for us to bring a child into the world and cater to the child's hunger needs, so we feed them? Some parents, all due respect to those of you that are throwing it down, but some parents are feeding their children Coca-Cola and fried potatoes with vegetable oil. All right, so that's one layer.
Even frying potatoes, you don't even need to fry potatoes these days. Just bang it up with it.
No, I meant crisps.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's been a while.
Okay. So you've got that aspect of it, yeah. So they cater to their nutritional needs.
Yes.
Rightly or wrongly so. Then you've got the physical needs. So they cater to their clothing. They ensure they've got clothing and those things. They cater to them. Again,
educational needs.
Rightly or wrongly, depending on the type of clothes that they're giving their child.
Oh my God.
And then, as you mentioned now, we've got educational needs. Education.
Yeah.
So we've got people who now are catering to the fact that they understand education is key. Yes. Now, be it state school education, private education,
military,
or homeschool education. You understand? They're giving them some kind of an insight.
Yeah.
But says, why is it that when it comes to things like, and I respect and honour my mum so much for some of the stuff she did. Yeah. She made sure she sat me down and ensured I understood what a checkbook was. I know some of you don't even know what that is today. But she understood made sure I understood what a checkbook was, how to balance a checkbook, how to write it, how to ensure someone couldn't defraud my checks once I've written them. Do you know what I'm saying? So
thanks, Mum.
She patterned that quite well for me. But why is it so? Even finances, some parents who are ensure they are financially literate, ensure that their children have that financial literacy. But why is it that there is an emotional / spiritual side of intelligence that parents are not ensuring they give to their children? Because this dating thing is a spiritual, emotional aspect. And look, think about how much drama we had. Like, we had good times.
Yeah, we had good times.
But think about how much drama we had. And coming from a space of drama, wouldn't you think, you know what, it's important for me to ensure my children don't experience that drama. They focus on money, they focus on fashion, they focus on music, they focus on the social. But when it comes to ensuring that there is an emotional dexterity in the lives of their children, they've got an emotional resolve and an emotional integrity, they don't do it. And then this feeds into this, well, I want everything. You do it all. Or I'm not willing to give anything. Or in fact, it's half. Which is even worse. Which is even worse. So it's like, why? I don't understand why.
It's funny because as my husband is speaking, I'm actually feeling a bit emotional, because I'm just thinking to myself, oh my gosh, so many relationships would have been, so many lives, not relationships, so many lives would have been protected if parents had just gone ahead and thought things through and said, you know what, yes, I'm talking to my child about education, yes, I'm giving them good nutrition, yes, I'm putting a clothes on their back. And sometimes parents make it feel, I don't know about now, but a lot of the times back in the days, our parents made us feel like, I am doing you a favor. This is a favor.
Yeah.
I don't owe you nothing. You know, parents come with that I don't owe you nothing sort of attitude kind of thing. So it's kind of like, they're like, I'm doing all of this already. That's it's like that's enough.
Too much even.
That's enough. The rest, go and, you know, sort yourself out. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So for me, it's really like, it's very touching hearing it from that perspective, because as a young girl who got into a relationship quite early, obviously for me it was all fun and games at first.
Yeah.
Obviously. Do you know what I mean? It was all fun and games at first because you just, you know, from Neighbours, Home and Away, all those, you know, obviously everyone's got boyfriend, girlfriend, and it's a bit of a joke.
Bike a groove.
He said bike a groove. That was your program.
For those of you that know, you know.
that was your thing. That was your thing. You know, but when I think about it, you know, obviously, because it's like, I mean, my mum, I wouldn't say she's liberal. Is that, I don't know, like, she was quite okay. Like, she was really strict with certain things. But then I think once she clocked, no, Sarah's just, I can't even say anything, Sarah, about this boy. Do you know what I mean? You know, so she was kind of like, I'm just going to let her get, like, I'm not even going to, because I kind of feel like it's a blinder that they put on. If they don't discuss it with you, they make it out like they don't know you're doing this. Yeah.
Your mum, from what I remember of those days, your mum was kind of like the trendy mum in a sense.
That's what I'm saying. She was cool,
yeah, so is that...
Mum, you cool? You was cool,
Mum. All you cool mums out there.
No, it has its benefits.
So obviously the younger people kind of would be like, oh yeah, she's cool, we can go around the house and X, Y, Z. Yeah. Do you understand? But I think the point that you're making is poignant, because we need to understand that there are conversations that need to be had. Yeah. Because if they are not, there's an imbalance that we go forward, that our children go forward with. There is an imbalance. Now listen, I'm talking to, and let me say something to you guys. I know it sounds like we're talking about parenting and children, but one thing that you need to understand now is that we were all children once.
And we all still are.
Some of us,
children to our parents.
Some of us are big children. Very, very, very big children. So, and I think the point that we need to really encapsulate here is that we are not exempt from the lessons that were inherited, both from our parents, from our environments, and even to date, those of us who are truly mature understand that we're still learning now.
100%.
We should be aware. I was talking on I was on a call earlier on with one of my coaches, and he was saying to me that he was giving me some information that I did not know. I came off the call, I said to Sarah, you know what, I just told the coach this, and this is what the coach said to me. So it's important that we have an understanding. Like, this is why we utilize mentors. This is why we get involved with coaches, because we want to learn the things that we don't yet know, so that we can develop and grow and become stronger. Yeah. And it's a powerful thing. I think it's really vital that we ensure that the grown people, the adults on the stream, don't feel as though they're exempt from what we're talking about.
Oh gosh, yeah, no.
Because if you're in a relationship,
yes,
that dating box, if you're married, you know, you're in a union with someone, in a covenant of union.
For some of us.
Or if you're dating, I said that already, or if you're courting, forgive me, all the things we're talking about now are applicable, because they can cause you, if you're that way inclined, if you permit yourself to really evaluate the way in which you respond to your partner. So for example, I'm a loud person. We
really didn't need the microphone, but we thought we'd just use it to be courteous.
I'm loud. And it's like, I can evaluate both of my parents, and at which point in our relationship I drew some tone, some volume, maybe some of my kind of demeanor from my characteristics, attitude, and then which later stage of my other parents. So it's like, I believe the earliest characteristics of my demeanor and my volume came from my dad. I think as the later stages, I ascribed it more to my mum, basically. So it's a combination of the two. Yeah. So there are parents that are extremely stubborn. So now when I come to a relationship, I'm now dealing with you. This is where this toxic parenting comes in. I'm trying to be a boyfriend, for instance, or I want to be a husband. Yet I fail. Like that's right. But I fail to understand how my character engages you. So essentially, like, we argue. We may argue over dinner. We may argue over money. We may argue over other people, friends. And we got a stream coming up about that. And the point may be, why am I so fixated on these views? And am I willing to give up that part of myself to get closer to you? Yeah. So the question is, do you? And I want you guys to answer this for us. Question for the crew, for the family. So, is it right to begin to change for your partner before you're married, or is that something that's only reserved for marriage?
That's a good question.
That's
a good question.
Yeah, because the reality is, we need to understand this. We need to understand, if someone says to me, look, be home at 8 p.m. We are cohabiting.
Hey.
And I said, be home at 8 p.m. Now, they may have good reason, they may not have good reason. But if they drop that on you and there's no ring, there's no covenant.
Exactly.
Now, is that justified or is it not justified? We need to establish this.
So this is obviously this is where the whole how much is too much is really coming to. Because even just a small thing like be home. Oh, hun, make sure you're not allowed. Don't go anywhere after work. I want you to come straight home. Who are you talking to? Like, why would you be giving him an instruction like that if you don't feel like he's your husband already?
Yeah.
If he doesn't, because a lot of the times I think it's the whole feeling of you belong to me now.
Come on, we're going there now. We're getting there.
You understand? You belong to me now. We are in a relationship.
Yeah.
So being in a relationship means that you belong to me.
Yeah.
But is that
what is dating essentially? And again, this isn't that stream. This isn't that stream. We're just touching on it. But Sarah's raising a good point. So this is what I'll ask you. And again, this is a teaser for when we start talking about dating. What defines our relationship?
That's it.
Because when I used to run around on the roads with the guys, we have a code. Do you understand? So when you get involved in a relationship, you have a code. When you take a loan from the bank, they have a code. When you go and work a job, there is a code.
Yeah.
There are codes everywhere.
Yeah.
And the problem is this. Two people get involved in a relationship and they don't first discuss the code. So it's like, okay, yo, you look so cute. You fine, girl. I want to get with you. And she's like, okay. And then
did that.
Forgive me. And so they connect.
So funny.
So they connect, and they've connected merely on a natural outwardly. There is no soul.
But hon, come on, that's not going to happen straight away now, is it?
We spoke about this last week, and this is why good questions need to happen early. If I see you and I like the way you look, that shouldn't be enough for me personally to begin to date you.
No.
We're trying to listen. Is someone in the comments talking about dating? We're trying to pull us into the dating section.
We need to have a look at what's going on down here.
So listen, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that they should have the whole discussion at the bus stop when they see each other. That's what I'm saying.
No.
I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, before you decide you want to take something forward, you need to be evaluating that space. Because you don't know if they've got toxic parents. You don't know if they are a prime candidate to become a toxic parent.
Or you don't know if they're toxic themselves.
This is what I'm saying. So it's like, let's imagine. So...
It's okay, darling.
Look, my point is just
keep
that...
Keep it coming.
My point is just that we need to be mindful. Let's go through some comments real quick.
Hey, let's say hello to everybody.
Hi guys.
Everyone.
We love you. We
really do. Thank you all so much. So obviously we've just been kind of like touching how much is too much, but for those of you who weren't on the stream from the beginning, my husband brought a perspective from the parent aspect. Like when we grow up, we are not spoken to about relationships.
That's right.
We only see relationships and what's around us, our parents and all these other things and stuff like that. And he made such a good point. He was making such a good point about how parents are, you know, not investing into their children, into that part of their you know, their children's lives, you know. And this is where we get the whole a girl just responds as a girl and a guy just responds as a guy. And obviously that's where you were saying.
Can you elaborate on that point?
As in, you know, women, we automatically serve sometimes, in a sense, you know. Some women, you know, we automatically serve, and men sort of come with the whole approach of, I'm the head.
Shield, protector, kind of.
You know, yeah. But nothing's sealed, nothing's concrete. We've just gone out for dinner, and, you know, I was saying that naturally a woman will expect a man to pay. Naturally, she will expect a man to, obviously this is just a date, so you kind of think, you know, he's going to be as courteous as possible, pull out your chair, ask you if you're okay, are you comfortable, all those kind of things. Yeah. And a woman generally has these other things in mind. Okay, he is going to look after me. If anything was to happen, he's got my back, kind of thing. So that's where we were earlier on in the conversation. So yes.
All right.
Fire away.
So I'm going to go back. I'm looking for the answers to the questions. You guys, tag your answers with question.
If you can.
Tag your answers with the word answer. Tag your questions with the word question. So either stick an A or a Q at the front, or tap at the whole word. That will help us massively. So the point was, I asked you guys a question. Listen, when do I change? If I like Sarah, should she be changing for me while we're dating, or should she be changing after we're married? Because
I don't know what side of the fence I'm on with that.
Yeah, well, I know where I'm at.
I don't know.
Listen. I saw an answer to the question. Let me quick. I'll scroll to one. Who did I see?
Oh, my battery's gonna die. I'm gonna have
no ring, no response. I hope that was in relation to what I was talking about. No ring, no response. Sorry,
I did see someone say before marriage. I think Z said before marriage. Before marriage.
Okay.
Well, okay, so that's where Z's coming from. So, you know, ladies, guys, if you guys have anything on that question, please throw it in. My battery's gonna die, so you might want to
use this. So this is the point. The point is this. Let me tackle two of those. No ring, no question. That depends. In that scenario, if we're talking about the same thing, based on, that was Kat Johnson, thank you so much. That depends basically on your worldview. Remember what I said? The bank has a code. Your organization has a code. If you coming from a strong, structured family, do you know what? They've got a code.
Families have codes.
Do you understand that? And the point is this now. If you're saying no ring, no question, or if you're saying it has to be after the ring, if the other person doesn't have that code, and another way to look at this is worldview.
That's the point.
Another way to look at this is worldview or philosophy.
That's a good point.
So if you've got two different worldviews, this can be a challenge. Basically. And then the other side says, we changed before. Now, this is my challenge to people with that perspective. We're together. Yeah. We're dating. Follow me?
Yeah. Sorry.
We're together. We're dating. And my point is, I think you should cook more of the food my mum cooked. All right, you cook at home, and maybe you cook a lot of European.
We're dating.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, follow me. You cook a lot of European stuff, and I'm like, listen. In my house, I grew up on this, and I want you to cook this food. So now you've got to trust it, and I'm using this as a really light example. So listen. So you saying, okay, I'm gonna cook. I should cook your food. So now it's difficult. It's hard. You've not learnt it before, and then you fast forward in this couple, they break up.
Oh.
So now
she's starting again.
Watch me. They now get into a new relationship. The new guy says, "Yeah, I dated an African once. I hate all African food." She's now become accustomed to the food. She likes it now. Yeah. She likes it now. So does he change? Or does she change? And my point, this is the point I'm making.
That's a lot of work.
Follow me. This is my point.
That's a lot of work.
We should change based on our code. We should change based on our worldview. We should have a strong enough worldview that we live by, and we subscribe to that. And there will be, by the grace of God, if two people are coming together with two good worldviews, two good perspectives, you know what you're going to have? Crossover.
Right.
So we both subscribe to integrity. We may not be excellent at upholding all the time. We both subscribe to integrity. We both think that it's right to have a what do you call it? An exclusive relationship. Is that the right phrase? I think. Yeah. So it's all of you for me and all of me for you.
Yeah.
So that's how we're moving into the space of marriage. So there's crossover, and these are the things that I think we really need to be mindful of, because a lot of the time, because of a movie, because of something we heard at a point in time, it's like, it's great to do it this way or that way.
Sorry, but you know what? Sometimes it's not even just the movie. Sometimes it's just the pressure to want to get to that end point, to want to get to the goal. Guys, you understand what I'm trying to say? Because I feel like sometimes people actually do begin to give everything so that it's like, okay, he can see the value that I have.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys agree, because sometimes if you hold back too much, because I think this is where people find the imbalance.
Come on now, let's go. I like it.
People find the imbalance because it's like, okay, so we get together.
Yeah.
It's been 3 months.
Yep.
And I'm still not even showing you that I can clean a house.
Yes.
Or I can iron a shirt.
Yes.
Or I can make simple breakfast. What are you going to be thinking? I'm thinking what you're going to be thinking. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
A woman's going to be thinking, what is a man going to think if I don't show him I can do certain things? If you understand my point, or if you... please leave it in the comment below, because I kind of feel like this is where that cycle... is never ending, because the woman's always thinking about what the man's thinking. The man's thinking what's the woman thinking. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Listen. So I think I spoke to you guys a little bit last week about what I'd say to last episode about what I'd say to my sons. Let me tell you what I'd say to my daughter. Do not cook for him.
You know what? Look at one comment here. A sister Eunice, she says, not cooking if we're dating.
Come on now. Listen.
Did your mum teach you that? Did your dad teach you that? Or is that from yourself? Like, where did you... What makes you say that?
Let's get some insight.
Why do you have that mind view?
This is the reality. I'm saying to my daughter, look, don't go to his house alone unless you're meeting his parents. Do you understand that? Like, there are certain things that we need to put in place before, and this goes back to this failure to invest emotionally in our children, in their emotional intelligence. We wonder why there's so much drama today. We wonder why there's so much, not just toxic relationships, man to girl. We wonder why we're raising toxic young people, toxic individuals, and pushing them out into society because we're not catering to their emotional intelligence. We're not contributing. Sometimes it's like, go be a doctor, be a lawyer, get a great job. Do you know there are degrees of mental toughness that are required? We're talking about psychological aspects that are required for certain roles, certain jobs. Yeah. And if you don't have that discipline, you're no use in that environment. Yeah. You will crumble. You could really spoil a career, essentially. Yeah.
Let's take some time and read some of the comments, because we just said we were going to read the comments and then we started talking again. You've got the comments there. Okay, so reading comment time. We just got good evening. She'll cater to my every need. Simply, I can win. It was super shocked on that one.
You heard me say it,
Hi, E Cosmios, welcome. Kat Johnson says, nope, in a Caribbean household, it was stay away from boys. With no education. No education on how relationships should be.
You see that there,
right?
So this is my point, and you're not alone, Kat Johnson. It's not just in a Caribbean home. You find this in African homes, European homes. Like, listen, all across the board, and it's a problem that we have innately as people. Yeah, that we don't value that aspect, that dynamic of life.
That's right. Ecos
Great comment.
Says,
thank you so much.
Yes, that's true. African household for me was don't look, don't touch, don't even breathe near a boy before you get pregnant. Talk done.
You see there. So
I love that. Again, obviously, like these were the things that our parents told us.
Yeah.
It was literally, if you just stay away. Yeah. It wasn't even okay, if you get into that position and you start seeing this guy, okay, bring him home. Let's sit down and what. It was none of that. It was just stay clear.
Yeah. And so what do you guys think about that personally? Like, what is your advice going to be to your children based on this dynamic?
Yeah.
Is it okay for them to bring the child home? Like I said, Sarah's mom, when we grew up, you mentioned it, she was the kind of like we call her corn trendy, and it's just because, like you said,
she just wanted to know I was all right. I think that was my mum's thing, just keeping tabs. Really, I kind of think like she was more comfortable knowing that that she knew your name at least.
Yeah, and I think the thing was about that. It made for a more inviting environment, depending on who you were. Because I remember your brother, his friends would come around to the house as well. So it's like it was an open door. So what do you think about that? Is it right to have an open door for your children to bring their would-be boyfriend or girlfriend or would-be trying to be husband to the house or not? So
difficult, right? Okay. Oh, Ecosmia says, I feel a homeschool stream coming out, babe. That well, we'll see. So, and then, Simply I Come and says, I actually got the talk with my mum around the age 10 or 11. Wow, that's nice.
That's great.
When she noticed there was an interest from boys, I'm actually appreciative of the talks. I think it really helped me set up.
Wow, there you go. That's powerful.
That's good.
That's powerful.
That's amazing. Thank you for that.
What's great about that is that's a powerful testament of how it can work. I'm mindful of the age gap, the specific age there, and I'm not saying 10 or 11 is the right or is the wrong age. And I guess you have to gauge it. She said something really powerful there about. It was when her mum noticed
that the boys would get
so that she used that as an opportunity.
Exactly.
So that's something good, and it shows again a parent taking the interest and actually observing the terrain of their child. This is really important.
She also goes on to say she spoke to me very plainly and said, if you were to get pregnant, I would be extremely disappointed. And so would the Lord, but I would never throw you out of the house. I heard the emotion, and I heard the emotion.
Jumped down and decided I didn't want to hurt her or God, and somehow managed to get through her teens with little damage or impact from the world. But the struggle was real.
Wow.
Come on now.
Wow.
Praise God. That's big. Thank you. That's a massive contribution. We really appreciate that. And I think that's a light and insight for a lot of young people, a lot of us who are kind of in that space, thinking about both raising our children. It doesn't matter if your children are 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. These are things we need to be considering now,
at least
and preparing for.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let me drop it with that. Also, Kimwin said, "Blessed message. We thank you, sir. God bless you."
Ecos Mios. I'm not a regular mum. I'm a cool mum. Me too. Go on, you can read.
Yeah. So we've got. I was out here damaging. Does that say damaging? Damaging everyone and everything, trying to figure things out by myself with the help of friends, Dawson's Creek and Keenan and Kel. That's so cool. Yeah. I caught a little bit of those as well. Simply I Can Win says, I think the talk is so necessary from a biblical perspective though. Soul ties, the devil's plan, etc., etc. I knew from early about soul ties, etc. And you made decisions from that knowledge given to me, and then you made decisions based on that. Yeah, that's powerful. And I think these are things that, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The spiritual emotion. You know, I was saying to you earlier on, I really think, I feel heavy about this. I don't know why. We think that giving them food, giving them clothing, taking them to the cinema, teaching them how to dance, playing music, filming cute videos and posting it on social media is enough, and we refuse to really contribute to the to the soulish, spiritual perspective of our children. We are 3 parts. We're not just the one, and I think it's important that we cater to that full length and breadth of our person. Because
I do agree. I do think that if you know, when people are growing up, if their parents are teaching them particular morals regarding relationships that they could or couldn't, or could go into, or even just discussing things. I mean, because a lot of the times as well, maybe some parents don't feel qualified enough because they're going through certain things in their relationships. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I totally.
They might not feel qualified enough to even be given that advice because maybe they've seen, they know that their child sees what they're going through.
Then you need to hire a coach. Then you need to hire a coach or a teacher for your child.
That's another spin.
No, this is the reality, and I understand what you're saying, and I can see that in so many people. There are all across many facets of life. People don't feel adequate. The issue is, you are a parent. Yeah. So get the training required. Hire someone that's got them. Take them to church, to a good church. A good church should be teaching these things. Should be educating the young people in this way. These are my points. So you need to find somewhere or someone that can educate you and your child to ensure that they're in the right community. Because otherwise, these problems will perpetuate from generation to generation.
It's true. Okay, we read that one. Z said before marriage. I guess she was talking about changing. Changing. She says things before marriage.
Let me quickly tackle that. So I know I made a point before, and I think, listen, I'm a total advocate for us being people who are focused on personal development. Yeah. We should be developing as individuals before marriage. Yeah. We shouldn't be thinking when I get to marriage everything's going to change. No way, no how.
But what change was you talking about? Because
listen, it's really across the board. Okay. Because listen. If I ask you now how different a woman you are now, or how different a man I am, I don't want people to think that I'm pointing the finger at you, how different we are now from before we were married.
Yeah.
And the changes that we've made for each other. Yeah. Yeah. Or rather that we've helped each other to make and develop.
Yeah.
How similar are we, would you say?
You've changed a lot.
Okay. Do you understand that? And I think you've changed some too. And my point is that trying to front load this change is not easy. It doesn't work. You say, we'll do all this change at the beginning. Saying, we'll defer it till later, it's not easy either. But the key is having a good upbringing, and that's different for different people. But the reality is the key is this: having a focus on being the best person I can be before marriage, and maintaining that consistency after marriage. It's not I'm gonna change for you, and it shouldn't be you're gonna change for me. However, there are degrees of you and myself that God uses to aid us in the kind of the chiseling and the shaping of our character, our nature, our emotions, and our perspective as we grow together.
But let's not forget that people go through certain things early.
Yes.
Let's say they get into a relationship and they get hurt. They get into several relationships and it doesn't work out.
Okay.
So I think that there are people out there who will wait because they've experienced changing beforehand and then either getting hurt or not getting a good outcome out of it. So you're going to have people who obviously, changing, that's fine. But, there's a reserve. There will be a reserve for some people because they've obviously experienced certain things with, in other relationships. So they're not as willing as they were before to give this 100%, or to be willing to change their selfish ways and be willing to drop friends and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will do this when they get the ring, when they enter the marriage.
Yeah.
And obviously marriage is a work in progress.
Yeah.
And because it is a work in progress, there's like room for change.
Yes, absolutely.
And someone who gets married at 30 is not going to be the same wife when she's 40.
We pray.
We pray that she's not the same wife when she's 60. And we pray she's not the same wife when she has grandchildren and all that kind of stuff. So obviously for me, it's a thing like what you were saying, what you said, I think in our two streams, two previous streams, you were talking about the MOT test.
Yeah.
I think that is very important, where people constantly check themselves in different aspects of their life, and checking yourself when you are in a relationship will help. It will help to say, okay, I'm not going to become who he wants me to be now.
Yeah.
But I know I'm not that person that I was before, kind of thing. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I'm feeling you. My point is this. My sisters, support me if you heard this or you know this, or someone's counseled you on this. So he's read some Bible. He may not even attend church, but he says you need to submit. You're not married. There is no ring. There is no commitment to a lifelong covenant.
What about people who are courting? Because courting, they're engaged already.
That's right.
Isn't it?
But what about that? Is biblical submission a charge to the courting?
No.
Now, let's not make this Bible court, yeah? But that's one thing I want us to consider. It's like, what is it really? Who is it talking to? Are we talking to husbands and wives? There are dynamics for general everyday relationships.
Yeah.
But they are not the direct instructions to the husband and to the wife. That's what I say. So if I'm a Christian, I'm a Bible believing Christian, and I'm doing my best to follow the word of God to become the best me I can be. There are characteristics I will develop over time that are beneficial for my courting season and for my time of marriage. Absolutely beneficial. However, there are charges to me as a husband or charges to my wife per se, that if I were to attempt to enforce in the phase of courting or in the phase of dating, I'd be enforcing those illegally.
Of course.
And this is my point. My point is that there is a limit. So I'm kind of giving the answer to the stream now. How much is too much? There is a limit to how much you should give before you are married.
But this is the thing. Should you give anything then before you're married?
So listen. We're talking in codes now. When you say anything, what do you mean? Because obviously, yes, we can fellowship.
Yeah.
As friends, we can talk. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping your conversations have a curfew. There should be a time you're cutting off those conversations. I'm being serious.
It's true.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, husband and wife, we can lay down at bed at night and talk. We can lounge around the house in the evening and converse. Do you know what I'm saying? But that shouldn't be the case if you're in you're communicating, you're engaging with somebody who is not your life partner, husband and wife, is not the person you're courting with an expectation to marry. Even if you're courting, there should still be a cutoff.
Yes.
There should still be some kind of guideline until you've crossed the line of marriage. This is my point.
Definitely.
This is my point. So it's like, so even when we talk about, I gave a simple example before about cooking, but when we talk about changing before you're married, what exactly are you changing and what for? That's what you're asking me. Because if I'm changing my dress sense, my eating, if I'm changing my entire character for someone, and we've not crossed the line, and then they turn around later because of their worldview that says, you try before you buy. I told you, me and my cousin used to have this conversation before, and she was educating me on this concept, and it's like, the truth of the matter is, that person says, well, I've tried and I don't want to buy. Yeah. Now the person has changed so much of their character, they don't even really know who they are or who they were. And what if they've changed for the worse and not for the better? This is why we need to be careful that we don't change for things that are just temporal. Our focus is to change for the long term. Yeah. Do you understand that? Yeah. All right. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you guys.
Yes,
if you disagree, punch it in the comments.
Right.
Yeah, what do we get to?
Ecos Mios.
Truthfully, I think it depends when the basis of change comes from. Is it scriptural? Great point. I agree totally. If so, then it would only benefit me.
That's
okay,
right.
That's a good point. That's a good view. Sorry, I meant and I made decisions from that knowledge given to me. Okay, cool. We got you. No ring, no response. Kat Johnson. Is that Malika? Says, interesting conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're trying, to be led and bring out the conversations that work. Z is laughing with Kat. Malika says, I know about soul ties and I have taught my children. Praise God. That's amazing. Well done.
Fantastic.
While you are dating, she said, I think that's the reference to the changes. Answer when you are dating, please. Can you elaborate on that just a little bit for me?
No, answer when you are dating.
Oh, when you are dating?
Yes.
Please. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So I hope...
I think she's saying change when you're dating.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
So if that's what you mean, I think I've touched on it already. If you disagree or you've got like a different view.
Even Eunice also says before.
Yeah, so if you guys... So tell me now, guys. Those of you in the comments, there seems to be a few of you that believe that you should be changing while you're dating. What specifically should you be changing? And yeah, how do you feel about the examples I've given? That you might change and the person says, well, you know what, I'm done dating you. So then what do you do with all those changes? If you've dated multiple people and made multiple changes for the people and it didn't work out, what do you do then? So give us some feedback, guys. Remember, your comments foster this conversation. Let's go.
Yeah.
Eunice says, not cooking if we're dating. Come on now. I like that. Is that
Emmy?
Emmy. She says, question, why would anyone need to change for the other person? And what is the guarantee they would not change back to their old self after marriage? See,
I like that.
You see, that's rich here.
I like that.
Listen. Thank you so much, Amy. Tell me if I'm saying your name correctly. Thank you so much, Amy. See, the power of that question, that point is this. we need to be thinking long term. What is the real reason? Because I spoke to you about the code, your family code. Yeah. And your family code, we spoke in the beginning, really, if you guys, hopefully you guys caught the beginning, but we spoke about the different inputs my brother mentioned ages ago about what makes up an individual character. So as I sit here, I've got the influences of both of my parents here, but they have the influence of both of my grandparents. Yeah. As you sit here, that's the same with you. So if we've truly taken in, inherited much of that, when we begin to converse, those are some of the anchors. So as we grow now, we evaluate, okay, this was good. This was a good trait from my parent. This was a bad trait from my parent. This is how I view it, and I want to change that. Somebody else comes along now and says, change. So you may change for them, but it may go against your nature. So as Ami's saying, they can play you. Remember we spoke about that trailer that we saw? They could play you.
Yes,
they could play
that
you.
Trailer.
Come on, they could play you for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, this is Mr. What do you call it? Prince Charming.
Yeah,
or she's a princess from the cartoon character, from the cartoon shows. But then their real nature comes out.
Hey, it sounds so scary.
So this is what I'm saying. So it's like we need to. That was such a great point. But listen. Why would anyone need to change for the other person?
Yeah.
Now, that's a great question. And
that's what I was going to ask.
Go for it.
No, I'm just saying that, for me personally, I kind of feel like, when two people get together, they get together because both have liked what they've seen.
Yes.
Both have liked what they've heard, in a sense. And I kind of feel like majority of the change happens once they're married.
That's
what I think.
Now that's rich. That's very rich. And what I want to share is this, and I love this woman so much. It ties in so greatly. Marriage is a journey into making you a stronger, more
resilient,
better, well-developed person. Resilient. That's a great one. And so I don't mean to kind of segregate those people who are not married or choose not to marry. That's what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is, it's like the purpose of a mixer, a blender. The purpose of a blender is to blend. The purpose of marriage is to strengthen. So if you see marriages where people are kind of broken, not looking well, something's not going right in the marriage.
That's right.
I should be doing the best I can with the gift God's given me to help you become the best person God's called you to be.
Yeah.
And in turn, the same way with you towards me. You may hear me reference God a lot, and that's because that comes from our worldview, guys. So whoever you are, whatever kind of relationship you're in, your job as a husband is to lead your household, but not just I'm leading you. It's to help develop them. And it's the same. Your wife, she has vision. She has a mindset and a life that she wants to fulfill. It's my job to help you fulfill that. And the same with the wife. We kind of help each other enrich each other. And that's powerful. So when you say, why would you change? Why would anyone need to change for the other person? My thing is, if it's for the better, if I'm helping to develop you and you're helping to develop me, there are reasons for change. But it's a great point that you raise it, Amy.
I feel like it works two ways. Obviously, men generally are the ones that are going to propose, right? And a lot of the times, I kind of feel like that...
Generally.
That I kind of feel like that comes when he's evaluated the change that he has seen. Hence why he wants to take this relationship further. So obviously when people say change before, some say change after.
Yeah.
Now because the purpose of courting is to get married.
That's right.
Yes. And even though people don't know it, the purpose when two people get into a relationship, whether they like it or not, they are still thinking along that line to some degree, I might because it's either they're straight away they're thinking, am I taking this all the way or is this just for a time?
Yes.
It's one of those thoughts is gonna come.
That's right.
Regardless, one of those thoughts are gonna come. Or is this just for 1 year? Am I just buying time? Or some men are waiting for the other chick that he loves to sort herself out, break up with the other guy that she's with, and he can go back and get her.
It's
so
true.
sometimes some women are even just what's it called? A convenient time cap, basically. Yeah. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I kind of feel like people expect change to come.
Yes.
Before they get married.
That's right.
Because they're basing why they're gonna request the hand based on the fact that when we were dating, you was like this. Then 1 year later, you're like this, and I like this one.
Yeah.
So because I really like this, I'm going to now ask you to marry me.
So, but what if you see someone and this was my point. You need to engage them before courting. The problem is, so many people will say, "Okay, I'm going to date you." Then they use that dating as a learning period. We are learning as
well. It causes a lot of damage.
Yes, we are. We should be learning during the period of courting. However, by the time there's a decision to court, we should have already understood what it is I like about you, what it is you like about me, and the value that we can bring to each other to enrich ourselves as we go forward. Our character, our emotional dispositions, our spirituality. These are the things. So, Ami's question was really great. And I think the point is, when we talk about the change, sometimes the change comes from someone saying, well, you know what? You're not all that. You need some improvement.
Hey.
That's a reality, though. But let's be real. That's a reality. Like, we could.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's who are you to tell me that I need to improve?
Okay.
You need to improve.
I think we're gonna go. We're going. We might touch a nerve there. So let's. She's defending her sisters.
No, not like that. Well, the reason why I'm saying that is because with the question here is how much is too much.
Yes.
And the same how much is too much also is how much change is too much change.
That's right.
Before it becomes what it should be.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Before it becomes a marriage, how much is too much? How much are you going to pour in? How much are you going to invest?
Yes.
How much should you pour in? How much shouldn't you pour in? So all of these things add up to the destination, should be adding up to the destination of marriage. Even, sometimes when people have gone into relationships and they're expecting this relationship to go somewhere.
Yes.
They're even giving it time. Okay, it's been 2 years. He's definitely going to ask me next year. Okay, it's been 4 years. He's definitely going to ask me next year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And with all of that, I'm not the girl that he met 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I have changed.
Yes.
I'm doing so much more now. I've I've gone natural or whatever, or I wear a weave now. Well, I don't know, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? So I still feel like the change. I think that how much is too much for me is in that change aspect, because someone who could have had the attitude of, you know what, I'm only seeing him with friends, and we'll go to his house if his parents ask me to come round.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak to him after 10 p.m.
Come on.
After 1 year, those things 10 p.m. has now turned to 1 p.m. or 24 hours.
You see that?
Or whatever it may be. This is what I'm saying. So I think that whole time, it's time. Because I really respect people, hands down, I respect people who court for 6 months and get married and just get on with it. I really do. Because it's like saying, okay, I know that change is going to come.
Yes.
So let's just get on with it. And let's just have this change as we're married.
Yeah.
Whereas some people are holding on to, okay, she's still doing small girl.
Waiting for that perfect transformation, that perfect time, that perfect character. Before
they, take the plunge and walk down the aisle and become husband and wife, really. So for me, I just really feel like, people put too much. People do invest a lot. But then again, I'm also thinking about people who are courting. People who are courting have already sort of made that decision to get married. They might not get married as well. Anything can happen.
That's right.
Anything can happen while people are courting also. Do you know what I'm saying? The girl could change her mind. Something can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, And then it's just like, okay, I've been waiting, to enter into the marriage. So I've pumped the brakes.
Yeah.
I've pumped the brakes. Okay, I cook for him maybe once a week. I'll go around his house. This is in courting. I'll go out, I'll cook for him or whatever. But she's not giving everything.
Yes.
And then it doesn't go anywhere. She's like, whew, well.
Good thing, yeah.
At least I didn't.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? And then there's the flip side, whereas, the person's putting everything. Then he marries her. And then the relationship, it just keeps going. And it's good. Do you know? Like for some people, it's...
So it almost,
yeah,
but
do you know what I'm trying
to say? So just then it almost sounds like you're saying withholding can work against you.
Yeah, because I think, no, what I'm saying is, I was just giving two scenarios, because I was even going to say, even the person who gives everything and it doesn't work, she's just like, you know what? I'm done.
And then she gets defensive.
In the next relationship. And then so it's just like, where is the balance?
Yeah.
Where's the balance?
So for me, it always comes back down to your code, your worldview, your philosophy. And for me, the philosophy I live by is the word of God. Yeah. That's what I stand on. Do you understand? That's what I stand on. Let's run down a few more of the comments. I think we've gone on a little while today, so
have we? Let's
try and get as much.
You want us to stop writing stuff in the comments, now, Jake?
All right, come. Let's go.
Z. It says that's no wait. I think I've gone. Okay, yeah. Z said, guys, there's a difference between dating and courting. I wouldn't be cooking before.
Okay, good. Before as in
before courting or before which one? You wouldn't be cooking before.
If you're still here, give us. Is she still here? Okay.
I don't know. And then Kat Johnson says, levels and standards are set during dating courtship. If you keep changing, you'll lose yourself.
Come on now. And you see, now, thank you, Kat Johnson, for that. That's kind of my view. You need to have a standard, a code, and we need to work alongside that code. Let me give you like a quick tip. If they don't agree with your code, two things happen. They're not the right person for you.
Okay.
Or you need to reevaluate your code. That's just it. And I think this is what will help us as we progress forward. No, that's the truth. Because if I have a worldview that my partner disagrees with, I need to think about two things. Are they really my partner? Do I really want to court them and marry them? If I do, I need to revisit my worldview and establish.
But wouldn't you, when you say revisit your worldview, I'm going to let you tap on that, but wouldn't you just actually think to yourself, I need to educate him on my code?
This is my point. So if you want them and you don't want the worldview, then the worldview changes. If you want the worldview and the worldview is more important than them, they must change or you let them go. Because this is what happens. They say, look, listen, girl, I don't know if we're compatible intimately. We need to be intimate now. If we're not intimate now, before marriage, then it's no go. Sorry, that's a phrase, isn't it? So, and listen. So my point is,
5 days. So now, I don't even know what I'll say to that.
I know what I'll say to my daughter comes to me, Dad.
Obviously, I know. You know,
give me his address.
Hey,
the point is this.
Did you think they really do that?
The point of of course, men really do that. Crazy. Maybe some women really do that.
Yeah, I know they do that. I'm joking.
But my point is this: it's that we need to have a standard, a code.
Yeah.
And if she now is in a position where she needs to say, okay, she's gonna give it up. Or she says, listen, these are the rules that I stand by, I live by. If we're not compatible based on my beliefs, I'm going to let it go. And I know I could be saying this and it may seem like it's easy to do or whatnot. And these are the real challenges of life. These are the real challenges of life. But we need to determine, do we have enough integrity to live by this or not? Because you gave a great example before. Imagine if she says, okay, no, yes, she's going to give it up. That's all right. And then he says, yeah, I've tried. We're not compatible. We're not compatible. So she's kept herself. She's been chased for how long? Or he's been chased for how long? They now get what they were looking for. And then that's the end of it. And all in the name of compatibility.
Hey.
I think that's an issue.
It is a big issue. Big issue.
Let's jump down in the comments. What else have we got here?
Yes, okay. So Z said, I think she definitely agrees with Kat. Z says, that stay clear message worked for me. My mum told me she got pregnant young and it hindered her career and choices. As she was forced to marry, she wanted to do better than she did.
Wow.
Your mum told you that? That was absolutely amazing. I think that was a good share. That was a really good share from mummy. But you know what? It's really nice when you actually hear people saying that their mums. It seems like it's mums.
Yeah.
Well done, ladies. It's mums that seem to take that role of talking to their children. Maybe obviously hear their daughters about that. So it's good to see. It's good to see.
I think the power of this is that it really exposes the level of intimacy, the level of forethought that some mothers are demonstrating. And this is really powerful stuff, because both of the two sisters here have said that these words from their mum helped them. Do you understand that?
That's the key thing.
Help them.
And that's what parents are supposed to be. A helper to their children.
Emotional, this is emotional intelligence.
Definitely.
This is spiritual safeguarding being done early.
Yeah.
Earlier we heard it was at 10 or 11. Here we haven't got an age, but we understand it happened at this stage that helped them before time. So we really need to be mindful of these things. We do have a part to play.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to go?
Oh, Ecos Mios says answer deliverance. I can't remember what that was for. She also said fire. Marriage is a strengthener. That's key, she's saying.
Praise
you can
God.
read on.
Yeah, so Simply Like Cameron says, yes, change occurs a lot after marriage. Agreed. The two become one. The fusion of two people to one unit has to bring some kind of change. Come on. ZUE says this conversation is thank you very much. Appreciate you. We're just trying to be led out here. Question, is it possible to change too much in the marriage? So in an attempt to make the marriage work, you give away too much of yourself, but still it's not enough. What then?
Wow, that's it.
That's flames.
That is flames. I can't do fire on this.
So yeah, you can. If you want.
To them, reply
Great question. Thank you, Zeke.
Thank you.
So the point is this.
Powerful.
Look, listen.
That's powerful.
I've tried to allude to it a lot during this broadcast today, and I hope that we're understanding. In life, one thing that will benefit us is understanding what our personal worldview is. What is my code of ethics? What is my code of conduct? I see some people chuckling saying code of ethics.
Worldview. Elaborate on this.
I'm coming. Code of ethics. They say, that's just for workplaces.
No.
That's for jobs. That's just for governments. Not. So each and every one of us has a way in which we engage with the world. We see people. We see communities, we engage with wealth, with money, we engage with emotions, we engage with people, we engage with animals. So generally you will see a religious perspective ascribed to as a worldview, basically. But it doesn't kind of stop just at that, because you can have two people that say they have the same religion, but they have different worldviews.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's what we need to establish. What is your view of life?
Yes.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
So this is the key now. So this question is
two people's views on life is never the same.
They're not. But we can actually come to agree somehow. Exactly. And this is what Simply I Can Win was saying just then about marriage. Two people become one. And what you're doing is, if you have a code at home, you're saying, okay, we agree to the code and we're going to join together. So we sit down, we discuss. The man generally, from my kind of background, you'd lead and you kind of draw that out. You'd plan that out. You say, look, this is what we're doing. We're sitting down. What's your view? What's your input? And these things are fed into from the conversations that you had during that courting stage. From the conversation, you know this. A man knows if a woman is going to be his helpmeet. So that means able and equal to the plan and idea that God has given him for his life. So it's important. And hence the woman too, she looks at this man and says, okay, you know what, the things that God's told me, I believe this man can help me get to that place. And we all marry in different times and stages of life. When myself and Sarah got married, the perspective of life and my life vision was very different from the one it is today.
Correct.
So, and that's developed over time as we've got together and as we've worked with each other. But I think what's key is for us to understand that we all have a life perspective, a worldview. So this question, what we need to establish is that before you got into marriage, what was your view? What was your agreement? What did you discuss as two people that were courting? Now that you're married, what is your vision for life? Every house should have a vision for life. How we're going to raise our children, what we're going to do as two people, what our contribution to society will be. This is a perspective that each of us should have. This is what makes excuse me?
No, go on.
This is what makes a productive kind of environment. Us as key members of society wanting to be productive, wanting to be involved productively. So the point is, when Z asks, you get married, you start to change. Then you realize that you've changed, but the change is not enough. You need to reevaluate the plan, because You need to discuss. Look, wait. Listen.
He's asking a lot.
No, listen. He's asking a lot. Is she asking a lot? so the key is this. This is why the work, the prerequisite work, is so important. I spoke to you about toxic parents before we started, and I said you need to evaluate the person you're with because you want to ensure, and you can never, by God's grace, we can walk by faith and we can be confident in God's hand on things. Just naturally, as a man or as a woman, you can never really know. Some people can change. We gave that example 2 broadcasts back. This guy was Prince Charming. He saved her in the middle of trauma. But a few weeks or months down the line, he morphed into some...
demon.
Listen, some mighty morphing demon ranger. And listen, my goodness. I'm having flashbacks
That's the only way to say it.
Of the trailer. Listen, the guy was a... What do they call those people?
Stalker.
No, he was one of those people who had...
Mental...
No, it wasn't. No. He had...
like that. Psychotic.
Yeah,
he was psychotic.
He was like
I'm thinking of American Psycho.
Yeah, he was a psycho. That's not the word I'm looking for. He was a real psycho, like a menace to society.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like I'm
yes, blaming the point.
Listen, I digress.
Yes, please.
The point is this. We need to ensure, before we get into marriage, that we understand that we are in agreement.
Yes.
It's like someone says, okay, before we get married, I only want 2 children. This is a common issue. Or I only want 1 child. You get married and the person's like, well, you know what? I want 5. It's like, what happened? And these are things that we should expect. You need to sort your relationship with grace. Let me tell you that from the outset.
But obviously, regarding that,
now this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, that we need to sort it with grace, because those are things that are bound. Those are things that are bound to change. But for someone to say, "Look, I want you to meet this list. This is my criteria list." You're changing, but it's never enough. There's some emotional instability there.
Yeah, definitely.
There are some things that need to be revisited. Either it's the plan. So stage 1 is go back to the plan, discuss. You know what? This is what we agreed before we got married. This is what we spoke about. This is what we said was important to us. This is the area we said we're going in. I'm doing everything that I can possibly do physically, mentally, to change.
Yeah, I definitely think we should...
But then, you want to talk about that?
No, yeah, I think we should. I think, to be honest, I think the question that Zeke asked is a really good question, because obviously on this show, one of our desires is to really help marriages in these areas of, why do you feel like your partner isn't enough?
Yes.
What makes you feel that, what he or she is doing isn't meeting your standards, and why is this causing an issue in your marriage? So I really think it's one of those things where it's kind of like, it's a self thing.
It is.
It boils down to the individual.
Really, this is something we discuss in coaching. It's not really something that we can talk about. Marriage coaching is really because this is really something that you look at on a situation by situation basis.
That's right, because not everyone's going to fall into that same category.
But in this scenario, just standing back for a minute, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
The first thing I'd say is revisit your plan, revisit your structure. After that, then you will solicit some coaching.
Yeah.
Then you solicit some counselling, because you need a third party to come in and give you an objective view, because maybe you're not really changing the way you think you're changing. Or maybe you are, and it's something on the side of your partner. So these are two scenarios I get you started with.
And as well, sometimes people are evaluating their partner based on someone else's relationship. People are basing their marriage on someone else's view, or in a lot of cases, some people are seeing someone else and they're basing their wife or their husband on that person that they're seeing.
That's right.
So it's not always it's not always the person who's doing the changing that's actually really the problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's true.
So there's that as well. That's why I was saying, I think that question really does have different branches that you can really pull at, Right, so let's read the next one. So it says, Simply I Come In says, that's real talk. I remember being told by a dance teacher, you have to sleep with your boyfriend before you get married to make sure he's compatible, etc. And then she says, the devil is a liar.
Yeah, come on now.
I love that. I love that. Amy says, I think a man and a woman's value need to align.
Come on.
People don't think about these things before marriage.
Yes.
If they find out their values don't align after marriage, that is where Wahala starts. Thank you very much. Thank you. And then I don't know. Z says you are preaching. Fire, fire, fire. I think that's to Ami's comment. Yes. God bless you guys. Okay. Simply I Can Win says agreed, Ami.
Yeah,
thank powerful. You, Ami. Keep coming with these hard points. They're absolutely beautiful. We have Osa. Super well done. For a fantastic episode. Thank you very much, sir. And Z, is there playback options on this episode?
Yeah, so once we finish and close the stream, you should be able to go back. You should be able to scrub now. If you can't scrub, you should be able to go back after.
Okay. And Simply I Can Win says, on the practical side, my husband and I did a gym rowing goals workshop before we decided to court each other. It really helped us to get to know each other and see our life visions and values. Thank you. That you see, and you know what? This is very much my husband's perspective. You really do. You're a real advocate for prepping, planning, and I guess as well because we went in differently.
That's right.
We've had to learn a lot of things as we've gone on. Mm-hmm. You know, in the 15 years that we've been married, we've really had to, learn on the job.
Yeah.
And learning on the job has taught us so much, so much. But it's absolutely amazing when people can get the understanding, get the knowledge that, look, things like your MOT test, things like your checklist, things like questions, communication, asking, talking, not just that kind of talk,
Yeah.
I mean, real conversation,
That's right.
Holding a conversation with the person of interest and seeing how well it, how it's going to go.
I totally agree.
Yes.
I think the core, and I've said it earlier on, I say it again, it's like, we have to understand. I mean, you really knocked it on its head, and it's really powerful. You have to understand what your code is. And there's not enough, that last comment there from Simply I Can was really powerful. We have to understand there's not enough people who are approaching things from that perspective. 2 broadcasts back, I think I mentioned to you guys about the spreadsheet. Sarah's mentioned now the MOT test. As people, as individuals, we need to be focused on our own personal development. We need to be developing ourselves to be the best people we can be. That means as an individual, I should be subscribing to some sort of personal development training, focusing on developing my character, my emotional intelligence. Then these things will feed into my children. I won't be a toxic parent. When I decide to court, as we've mentioned already, these things need to be thrashed out early. You thrashed it out early, you get to understand the person. Do they agree with my code? So I'm telling you, this is what I believe. If you agree with it, okay, this is my vision. This is where I believe God's taking me. This is what I'm doing. That goals program, the reality is you should have already done a program of personal development and vision casting yourself. Before you get into that space where you're now doing it with the potential would-be husband or would-be wife.
Yeah, but I definitely think like these things, regarding goals and evaluations and all these kind of things. What I want to say is, it's just like, how many people know that those things are out there?
See, this is the thing.
That's the thing.
We all know, look.
Because people just, relationship, break up, start again, relationship, engagement, marriage, boom, boom, boom. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the times it's just speed on, or it's speed and crash, speed and crash, speed and crash.
A lot of the time, No, it's true. That's so true, so true.
Speed and crash. So, again, it's kind of... And I think that's why, shows like this are very, very, very important because, if you're not familiar with, setting goals and visions, like Simply I Can Win has said here, taking a call, taking just some kind of a program while courting, all these kind of different things. Hearing it, oh, okay, this is out there. We really do have to begin to expose ourselves, the young men and women in our lives to these things, because they might not be doing it in the circles that they're in. They might not be doing it in the churches that they go to. They might not be doing it in their colleges and universities and workplaces, all these kind of things, because people sort of detach that aspect of life to everything else. It's like work, education is over there and marriage is over there. Marriage, that's for you to deal with. Everything else, we'll help you along the way, we'll pat you along the back. But marriage, you gonna figure that out. And even with our parents, it was like, we just had to figure this out. So you gonna figure it out, darling. You know, that's your relationship. You figure it out.
Work.
Yeah. So a lot of the times we have that going on. So, just knowing that, wow, there are materials out there coaching, you know, find someone to get coaching from, you know, to help ease you into these areas of life, because then, like my husband said, you're then able to pass on that knowledge. You know, you have a friend, they're in a relationship, and you say to them, guys, have you guys done this? They might not have thought about it and gone, oh, there's a thing.
Yes, that's right.
You're passing on new knowledge and information that can help save people's relationships.
And that again, the key, I think another key for me, and I'm always trying to think generationally, your children benefit from this. Yeah. Your children benefit from this, and it helps them to take this forward to the generations to come. Whoa!
Yes.
What a topic for today! Like, we're so grateful, so grateful for your insight and comments today, guys.
Send us the love hearts and the hugs and everything. If you guys have really enjoyed this show today, we really appreciate all of your comments. I would love and just scroll, and I'd love to scroll and just start reading out everybody's name, say like shout out, but you know who you are. Please, guys, thank you again so much. We could chit chat. I mean,
we could stay with you
for
hours,
we
but
we
gotta watch the time.
You know, but yes, we will be back again. Yeah. We'll be back again with our next show. Again, just keep you can keep leaving your comments. Please share the video. Remember, we said it's so important to let people know that, guys, look, there are conversations out here that we think might benefit yourself. You know, and let's just continue to build this Marriage Matters community. It's important. It really is. It really is.
Such a blessing to share with you guys today. Thank you so much for everybody who's just been firing, lighting up the comments.
We love your engagement.
Really appreciate you guys. I've been Ezekiel today.
And I've been Sarah.
And we've been here today with another episode of Marriage Matters Live.
Yes, please guys, like, share and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate you all. God bless.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.